Premium brand is a component of many things. We have around 5,000 customers that choose the 3M overall. The successful of our brand is good work of the team. 2018, we have concentrated our activity on the next level. The attention that we have on the prints and the embroidering that we do on our apparel, to be able to keep 100% production in Italy. This, I think, is a mix that creates the successful of the brand. My goal is never stop innovation.
Hello and good evening and welcome to the 6th and final round of Season 2 of the Esports Endurance Championship EEC here on Le Mans Ultimate, part of the E-Racing series. Of course, my name is Edward Hunter. I'm joined in the commentary box, I'm delighted to say, by Daniele Brambilla, and of course we've still got Mariano Cano and Louis Gaspar working in race direction and I guess graphics direction, because I seem to keep giving Louis different roles every time I introduce him in the broadcast. So definitely, as you can see there, bottom right corner on the production side. So let's stick to that. But here we are at 75 minutes. Francorchamps, this legendary circuit in the Ardennes forests of Belgium. Ignore maybe some of the information on the left there about the air and track temperature, which looks wildly different to one another. But yeah, certainly it is, despite being the middle of December, it is a bright, slightly cloudy, but mostly sunny evening that we're in for. It's apparently not wrong. The game is just like that. So there we go. The information is accurate. It's just difficult to believe. So there we go. We'll have to see how that impacts things here. It doesn't look like we've got any chance of rain in qualifying, which we believe we're in the middle of at the present moment, if I'm not mistaken, because usually we don't get to cover qualifying. So yeah, Daniele, it's been a very, very fun sort of first season, these exploratory first steps into Le Mans Ultimate and our two divisions, with the sort of 45 points maximum up for grab in both classes. It's still very much all to play for, up to I think everything apart from Division 1 Hypercar, there's 3 title contenders still in it in every single class. So, yeah, could very much go either way.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the season has been, let's say, we've had some up and downs this season for sure. We enjoyed seeing the merge between Server 1 and Server 2. And hopefully today it all comes down to this fight. We have 4 championships technically. We have 2 divisions per 2 classes, so that's 4 championships, all being decided today. In a race that, I have to correct you, it's 105 minutes long.
That's right, that's not 75 minutes, is it? That's the normal length.
Yeah, exactly. It's 30 minutes more. And
okay, there we go.
Yeah, and that's why we also have 1.5 points, because the length of the race will be 1.5 times, so this is also the same for the points. And that's why the championship is still very much open.
There we go. So it's the 105 minutes, or let's see, just under 2 hours then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the just under 2 hours of Spa doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Maybe there's a phrase in Italian that fits better. But yeah, nonetheless, it should be a very exciting end, of course. With it's 45 points to win, and qualifying has finished. So it was actually indeed just being carried out while we were getting set up then. So as you can see, it's Abel Sequeira on pole position in GD3, and Christian Marguera there once more on pole position, with Paolo Penimpede joining him on the front row, just 2 tenths behind. Can't read his time there. Can't read any of these times, quite frankly. But there, in third is Giuseppe Pastore, joined by Nicky Pastore, with Michele Rocon, the man second in the championship, down in fifth on the grid. Then is Mattia Bortolin in sixth, Francesco Baricchi in seventh, Luca Tavanari is eighth, with Federico Suave ninth, and Mike Bell rounding out our 10 hypercars then.
It's a return for the two Pastore brothers as well, after Monza.
Yeah, great to see them back. So Marguera a bit under the weather. He might have to really work a bit harder for this one than even before. But yeah, Abel Sequeira, as you said, on pole position with Nico Viani alongside him in the Aston Martin. Manuel Norris, I think this is the highest we've seen him on the grid, in third, with Davide Canton in the Mercedes alongside him. Luca Palumbo is fifth for Sim for him. Then it's Marco Lodi Rosini in sixth, Nicola Pagani seventh, Luca D'Amico in eighth, Alessandro Riccardiello in ninth. Frank Van Ginneken rounds out the top 10 in his Mercedes. Then is Simone Rabiti 11th, Andrea Gandosi 12th, Marco Mastrotta, I think, is making his first appearance, in 13th, Armando Atenzi 14th, Giovanni Paciello in 15th, Marcello Canesci in 16th, Lucrezia Milanese is 17th, Valeria Finn 18th, and I think Katrina Edmonds and Salvatore Pastore make up the rear of the grid. I think Katrina Edmonds did have to sit out qualifying after the incident she was involved in at Qatar, but nonetheless, I think she did get to keep the P12 in the end there. So let's see what she can do here at Spa from the back row of the grid then. But for Marguera, this is crucial here, because if Penimpede gets the jump on him at the start, it could really put him in a slightly uncomfortable position here. So he'll absolutely need to nail this one. Moments away then from the start of the final EEC race of the season here at Spa, and once the green lights are shown, that clock is going to start counting down, and everybody will get up to racing speeds. And as they rush towards La Source, there you can see the Door Falcon Esports of Marguera gets going then, and he seemed to really anticipate that start well. Penimpede's nowhere near him, but it's 4 wide in the background for third as Giuseppe Pastore dives up the inside of Paolo Penimpede, and you can see the background Bortolin getting squeezed in the middle by Rocon and I think Tavanari, as our GD3's a little bit of smoke, grass I should say, kicked up there. Sequeira's getting very defensive from Nico Viani's. Canton and Norris go side by side, and Davide Canton on the run. Oh! And our two leaders hit each other. Oh, and Canton collects Viani. But him and Sequeira both facing the wall in the runoff there. Luckily, they don't hit the wall, but that's going to be controversial.
Both leaders in their respective division in GD3.
And that is a disastrous start. It's a good thing it's a longer race, because they're going to need every minute to try and recover that. But look at this. One of the Carloni Racings right in the thick of things. That's Lodo Rosini up to second behind Manuel Norris then. So Canton getting that whack as he hit Viani. He couldn't really have reacted in time to the spinning Aston. That's really hurt him. Put him down to fifth behind Nicola Pagani then. As D'Amico is up to third. But meanwhile, in hypercars, this looks like one of the Cadillacs here really in a battle with Tavanari, Bortolin, and a whole host of others all over the back of him.
What a start. What a start. Well, we saw in the hypercar, we saw Giovanni Pastore completely missing the braking zone into T1, way too optimistic, crashing into Paolo Penimpede. I think, I don't know, maybe it's not that bad. It won't result into a penalty, considering he also lost the position at the end in the way. But what happened in Upper Rouge in GD3? Viani looked like he was much quicker than Sequeira up Upper Rouge. Feels like the Spaniard maybe even like lifted a little bit, and maybe I think
Viani definitely got caught out. Yes, I think that was pretty much. I mean, there's more yellow flags somewhere out there as we look at Marco Lodo Rosini. Oh, it's one of the Sim from Esports pink cars. It's the number 26. Now, which one is that? It's not Katrina Edmonds. It is Katrina Edmonds. There we go. So started the back grid, and she's had a spin or some sort of incident somewhere, and that's put her a long way behind Riccardiello, who's also not had the best of starts then. But yeah, Manuel Norris, who was actually overtaken by Canton down to third on the way into Eau Rouge, actually put him in the perfect position to avoid all of the chaos. But now he's got the Lexus of Marco Lodo-Ruzzini. Carloni Racing have not had the best time. I don't think they've taken an overall podium yet in this in the 5 races we've had so far. So Lodo-Ruzzini, a golden opportunity here, but D'Amico as well. Both BMWs either side of him are looking pretty rapid in this sort of new state of affairs. But here we go. Norris does not get a great exit on the run into the Kemmel Straight, and that's going to allow Marco Lodo-Ruzzini round the outside. The Italian is going to get himself into the lead then, as it's turning into a slipstream battle on the run into Les Combes. But it is Lexus that gets into the apex first. Then it's Pagani and Canton are dueling away in the background. I think Canton has got past D'Amico back into 4th position there. As you can see, the other mistakes, I think is that Van Ginneken chasing down Rabiti in front of him.
As it stands, if my math don't fail me, Palumbo would be leader and therefore champion of Division 2, being P6 and having Nico Viani currently P1, currently P1 in the standings provisionally, but now all the way at the back of the standings right now, and we have Ricciardello as well, completely out of the picture.
Yeah, I think Ricciardo didn't have a great qualifying, but I completely missed what happened to him. I think he must have also been delayed, as there's still yellow flags somewhere out there, as we see all round the outside comes the 67. Is that Ilaria Finn in a battle?
I believe Ricciardello actually spun out of I forgot what the name is called. I'm sorry, but he spun after.
Just give me a number. Give me a number.
It's Les Combes, but it's the last right at Les Combes.
Malmedy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. And I think he spun there. I thought I caught a glimpse of a car spinning there, and it looked red. But obviously, we don't have access to replay,
that would be
so
one
I
of the
couldn't
sim
really
frames
tell,
then.
but
Yeah.
it really looked like it was him.
Yeah, and that would explain if maybe Katrina Edmonds was trying to avoid that. That's why she lost a bit of time as well. But I think her spin was a bit later on, actually, which put her behind Ricciardo. As there we see is that Canton about to lose another position here as, that's one of the BMWs starting. That's D'Amico that's trying to fight back here, and he's dragging Palumbo with him as well. So Palumbo, crucial for his championship, that he gets as high up the order as he can, while all of his championship rivals in Division 2, Ricciardo and Viani, way down the order here. He needs to make hay while he's got this track position at the moment here, because this has put him in a great position. Meanwhile, up front, Malguera, despite his illness, still leading Penn by 1.1 seconds, sorry. I'm so used to him just immediately pulling out a huge gap in the first couple of laps.
Yeah,
But
you can tell he's feverish.
yeah, a little bit. So we'll have to see if Penn can take advantage of that. Don't think that virtual energy reading is necessarily accurate, because it's got Penn down to 2%, Malguera on 88. So we saw this in the last couple of rounds. Whenever it comes time to make pit stops, so all of a sudden it goes all over the shop and shows people with virtual energy from a completely different wrong point of the race.
I believe to our defense, I think there has been a slight change in the way the game outputs data in this latest update, which we also have to talk about. I mean, we have a lot of time, right? But
that's true.
We have a lot of topics to talk about, but I think this is one of them, right? The game basically changed some of the way the data is output, and especially people with SimHub. I read they're having issues. We're not using SimHub, but the problem stays. So I think we will need some more time to assess the issues. Yeah,
when he said, the game changes the way it calculates the virtual injuries, like, yeah, it calculates it wrong, apparently. But there we go. So GD3 probably the most interesting battle at the present, but Penn has got the gap to Malguera below a second, so actually the BMW seems pretty handy against the Ferrari on this particular circuit, and Paolo, having gotten his first podium at his hated Qatar, seems to be going even better at as much less hated, perhaps beloved, Spa Francorchamps then, as we look at that is Canton being closed in by D'Amico. You can also see Pagani up the road is starting to challenge Manuel Norris, who's been beaten down to second position. He's got a similar BMW behind him that wants to relieve him at the runners-up spot. As look at this, D'Amico looking very, very threatening. You can see the difference in lap times there in the bottom right then, and it certainly looks like Davide Canton is having to get defensive here. Could well still be nursing damage from the contact with Viani at the top of Eau Rouge and Radion on the first lap.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm really, I usually say this, but I talked to Paolo Penipede before the race, and he was very, very negative about it. He said he didn't practice much, but I mean, look at him. Look at him go.
Yeah, certainly he had a great qualifying. He was only 2/10 off of Malgera, which is one of the close qualifying margins. Usually Malgera is a good half a second up on everybody else. Is the 4/10 half a second is usually the average. There is the battle between one of the Pastores. Is it Nicky Pastore chasing down Mattia Bortolin? Is it?
Yeah, it is.
There we go. So I was a bit uncertain about that, but this is Porsche 963
you seem to like that livery.
versus Cadillac. Yeah, he does. Yeah. So at least it's easy to tell them apart. I think blue is Giuseppe Pastore, green is Nicky Pastore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or Nicola, so to use his proper name. And they are trying to chase down Tavanari, who is in another Cadillac just up the road, isn't he? To the outside, as they go to La Source, comes Nicky Pastore, trying to put the pressure on our Division 2 hypercar leader. He is sort of in a fight against Francesco Bruschi, who's lost a bit of ground here, side by side as they go down towards Eau Rouge, and it is Nicky Pastore that edges ahead in the Porsche 963. And now it's just a matter as they clobber the curbs. Can Bortolin take advantage of the slipstream and get his revenge here? Maybe a little bit of the fuel mix being turned up here. The hybrid power unit being put into service there, but the DC racing car is pushed out by the Team Sheba, and Pastore holds his line and holds on to that 6th place.
Bortolin needs to be very careful here. He's leading the
on the gravel.
As
He's
soon
gone
as
on
I
the
said
gravel at Malmedy.
All he needs to do is just finish the race in the points, and that'd be fine. Well, not in the points. I mean, ahead of Bruschi, which is currently P2 in Division 2.
And Suave. Suave is in mathematical contention, but both of them are behind, crucially, with Mike Bell in between as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, which battle is this? This is Nico Viani we're on board with, chasing down the Virtual Drivers Alliance of Armando Ortenzi here. Ortenzi has certainly had his a little bit of ups and downs this season. He was he was fighting with the Sim Sports pink cars last time out, wasn't he? In Qatar, as one of them spins up the rear tires coming out of the bus stop chicane and the lap here. But you can see here, Viani desperate to make up positions, and he's got to get into the top 10 somehow to limit the damage here. But he's really fighting an uphill battle. He's at least doing better than Abel Sequeira, though, who's, I think, a couple of places further down behind.
Yeah, both trying to recover from the initial crash.
But luckily, neither of them took too much damage. It's just they lost so much time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Usually when you spin there up Rouge, it ends up in the wall.
Here we go, late on the brakes, and you can see here, Viani in the Aston Martin has got so much more confidence on the brakes, and he dispenses with Ortenzi very, very comfortably then as he gets up into 13th place.
As Penipede still keeps the gap and keeps Malgera honest. That's very impressive.
Yeah, the other big gainer in Hypercar in his early laps has actually been Rokon, who's gone from, was it 7th on the grid? He's up to 3rd, and he's only about 2 seconds behind Penipede. So, after really, it's been a one-man show in Hypercar pretty much all season. All of a sudden, we're looking at potentially a 3-horse race if Penipede and Rokon can keep this up then. Impressive from both of them, I think. And you can really tell, as you say, that one man, Malgera, is under the weather and looking ever so slightly over his shoulder then, especially when we come to lap the GT3s, as I think we're just about to. This could be a really interesting moment then. So Malgera needs to have his wits about him here because Penipede is waiting to pounce, and you can see a little bit of instability as he goes into the Fanier Piff-Paff chicane before approaching Stavolo. That's one of the Symphony Esports pink cars just ahead at number 26. Leaves plenty of room. That's Katrina Edmonds then. And then next up is Ricciardiello. As you can see, actually, Penipede already cutting to the inside and starting to close almost within a second. Again, you can just see Rokon in the background as well. So only just under 3 seconds, splitting our top 3 in Hypercar here. And this is big pressure on the shoulders of Malgera.
Yeah, really impressive race. As we go
we're only about 15 minutes in.
Yeah, it's not going to be calmer from here, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's certainly no picnic for Margera this time. As we look at one of the Sim from Esports in sixth position. This is Palumbo chasing down D'Amico. So Palumbo has played it quite smart and conservative so far, really. He's seen his rivals ahead of him get into trouble, and he is sort of waiting in the wings to pick up the pieces here. Vianney is starting to make progress, which is good news for his race. But yeah, Palumbo is trying to put pressure on D'Amico, who is in turn completely focused on Davide Canton's Mercedes in front of him. Canton, to his credit, is starting to catch Pagani, who's not had a great lap and is starting to drop off the back of Manuel Norris, who's within a second again of Marco Lodi Rizzini here. Meanwhile, this is Sequeira stuck behind the number 99 BMW. That's that's a Brazilian driver in front of him, isn't it?
It should be Marco. It should be Mastrotta.
Mastrotti, yeah, the new driver, which is why I don't recognize the livery then. But yeah, nonetheless, great to see him here at Spa then. And Abel Sequeira, you can definitely tell here that he had he had to wait a bit longer to recover from his spin. Late on the brakes, nearly hits the back of Marco in front of him, didn't he? So good reaction time there to just avoid disasters. That's the problem with being out of position, that he's so much more confident on the brakes than some of these other drivers who maybe don't have quite as much experience of this GT3 BMW compared to Abel Sequeira then. So he's almost got to be slightly cautious not to trip up over them, not to mention he's now got the leaders coming through to lap him.
Yeah, I have to correct myself. Palumbo actually wouldn't win the championship this way, and I don't think he can because the points, the maximum points you can get from this race is 45, and he's 46 off. So just by 1 point. As Sequeira sends it on the inside of the bus stop, I think Mastrotta actually makes it a little bit easier on the Spaniard.
Yeah, nonetheless, you sort of don't want...
They're chasing Vianney behind.
Vianney sort of is in a situation where he really doesn't want to, and if he really doesn't want to lose more ground than he has to. I think I'm mistaken, because Sequeira is 11th and Vianney is behind him, so I got them mixed up there, which one was ahead after the spin, because it only shows the top 10. But nonetheless, Abel Sequeira doing a fantastic job, and still leading, of course, going in the Division 1 Championship. I don't think Zitello is in the top 10, and Rabiti is 8th at the moment, so Rabiti would only be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15 points to his name, I think. And he is on 91 to 37, so that is more than 15 behind. Oh, and look at this. A little bit of contact there between Vianney and Nicky Pastore there, and that's actually allowed Tavanari. So look at Tavanari, having recently been passed in his jet black Cadillac, is now seeing a little opportunity there to get even again with Pastore in that fight for 5th position. But yeah, Nicky Pastore, as expected, starting to gain places here.
It's a very striking livery, that one. It's just black, but you know, I think it works better in night races, and not really when it's bright out there.
Well, then it's a shame that Tavanari didn't appear at any of the night races. Oh, look at this! Vianney up the inside of Marco, the number 31, yields, and I think that was just very, very bold. That's just the difference between Vianney, one of our leader in Division 2 in the championship standings, and a newcomer, essentially, just being a bit cautious in the early phases of the race. He absolutely opened the door into Fanier, which is not usually a prime passing place, although in GT3, Spa, pretty much every corner becomes a passing place if you're feeling optimistic enough, apart from Origin Radion on the first lap, as Sequeira and Vianney discovered to their cost.
Yeah, I think it's about time we talk about the famous strategy talk. 5 minutes.
Well, I didn't want to, after I got told off for jumping the gun
true.
last time, I thought I'd let you lead the way.
Yeah.
Know my place.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be completely different, right? Usually we see the simple one stop. I don't think, well, there's still going to be one stopping, but they're not going to do it the same way. They can probably extend 2 stints, but it will be close. It will be close, and it might be the reason why maybe we see such small gaps, because everyone's trying to save.
Yeah, indeed, because nobody wants to use any more fuel of virtual energy than they absolutely have to. as this is that that's not Canton, is it? It's the other Mercedes,
It's
Van
Francorchamps.
Ginneken. Yes, there we go. I'm getting them mixed up already, which is not a good sign. But he is
Well, it's the
chasing
same exact
down.
livery, it doesn't help.
Yeah, Simone, the Iron Lynx one, isn't it? He's chasing down Simone Robiti, and Robiti, of course, trying to keep his faint Division One championship hopes alive. I believe he is. Is he 19 points behind Abel Sequeira? Then is Mike Bell trying to lap quite aggressively around the outside at Speaker's Corner. Meanwhile, this is Pagani under pressure from Davide Canton. So Pagani early doors was keeping up with Emmanuel Norris, and now I think he's started to realise he needs to save a little bit more, and that's opening an opportunity here for Canton to get himself back on the podium. A little bit of gravel kicked up there from the BMW. And Canton, the Italian, starting to apply the pressure as Pagani again goes wide on the exit of Stavolo. And that's going to compromise his exit through Paul Frere Corner. And there's a queue of cars lining up behind him. Behind Canton, we've got D'Amico and Palumbo as well, waiting for his opportunity.
Look behind.
Oh, here we go. Mike Bell to the outside, I think, as he laps them. And wide. Oh, that's the one. The BMW is going very, very wide indeed there. Canton gets very, very close as there's a move going on behind. Is that...
Pastore.
It's Pastore. Is he going for position there against Bruschke? So, yeah, Pastore, I think, has hit trouble here because he's fallen down to 8th position now as he goes side by side trying to hold on to it as Bruschke has to back out into La Source. And it's not a lot of space with this GD3 fight going on right behind them now as they accelerate into safety, I guess. But, yeah, it looks like Nicky Pastore once more. After the same thing happened at Monza. He tripped up over the GD3s, and I think the same thing's happened again.
That Porsche seems to be a bit of a handful. They made it looks quite sketchy, I think. In general, I mean, it's a Porsche, so it usually is hard to drive. As for Bruschke, I think he just has... It's completely out of his interest to risk fighting against Pastore, which is completely out of the championship in Division 1, and it's effectively in another division from Bruschke. But now he has to look back, because Suave is all over him.
Yeah, Suave and Bruschke are in a close fight for second, aren't they, in Division 2. I say close fight. Suave 109 points, Bruschke 126. So that is a good, just over 16 points behind. 17 points exactly, 17. I think. So, and you can see now, Canton, he got a good run actually onto the Kemmel Straight on that lap, but unfortunately, the BMW just seems to be a little bit nippier and quicker in terms of straight line speed. So it's really going to be about forcing Pagani into more mistakes here. And meanwhile, this is going on. Pene 1.9 seconds behind Malguera. Rocon about 3 seconds adrift as well. But look at that Mercedes. It is really bearing down on the back of Nicola Pagani. And I think neither of these drivers have taken a podium so far this season. And both of them very, very keen to pull it off at Spa. And it certainly would do both of their championships a world of good. I think both of them are Division 2 drivers, aren't they? Norris and... Norris is Division 1. And Pagani also Division 1, but much further down. So yeah, Norris is 4th on 80 points. Pagani is, I think, 5th, 6th, 7th on 64 points. So
yeah, top three is Division 1, and Canton would be the first one in Division 2.
Yeah, so yeah, certainly Canton is looking for a class win.
Well, outdoing, really, not outscoring, because I don't want to jinx it, but outdoing his teammate Van Ginneken, which is in Division 1.
Yeah, we did see why, of course, Canton had so much bad luck being, I think it was disconnected at Silverstone, didn't he? He came to a stop in the middle of the race. So let's hope his luck holds a bit better at Spa-Francorchamps then. He's certainly putting on another great performance here as we cut to the hypercar class. This looks like Bell, who's just been overtaken then by a very fired up looking Nicky Pastore, who's keen to regain all that ground he lost. You can see big gap between 5th position and 4th as well. Is that Giuseppe, his teammate, still holding on to 4th right now? 3 seconds adrift of Michele Rocon.
Yeah, for sure. I think Pastore definitely made a mistake. We didn't see it, but he's too much quicker than than everyone else behind him, and he's just pulling away now from Mike Bell, which is, see, he's British, he's not Italian.
There we go. And Mike Bell, of course, got his first finish of the season back in Qatar, as he has to really muscle the car through the Fanier chicane there and into Stavelot. You can tell the front end of that Cadillac is a little bit, I'm going to use a complicated word, recalcitrant. It doesn't look like it really wants to turn into some of these corners. So Mike Bell having to go a few more stabs of the steering wheel and the throttle to get the car up where he needs it. And he needs to be careful because Suave might fancy a round 2 against him after the close fight I believe that the two of them had last time out. More gravel being thrown up there by Pagani, who is starting to understeer through a lot of these corners. And up the inside into Paul Frere comes Davide Canton. This could be the big opportunity, but Pagani keeps his foot down on the throttle. And here comes D'Amico up the inside of Davide Canton, taking advantage of the fact that Mercedes was not able to make the move, and he slots through opportunistically into 4th position.
Well, I wonder if the tires on that BMW are falling off.
Yeah, it does look like Pagani pushed them quite hard in this opening stint early on the brakes for Luca D'Amico, and that gives Davide Canton a little opportunity to regroup here. But now Palumbo is very much part of this fight, and you can see Ribiti is not far off joining the battle as well. So Simfrim at the back of this fight for the podium here, but it could very well open up in dramatic fashion here if they all keep fighting as hard as they are then. And now Luca D'Amico wants to fancy a run on Pagani then, as he's positioning himself through Eau Rouge and Radion. You got to hold your breath here as they go back uphill onto the run down the Kemmel Straight then, and you can tell Davide Canton is tucking in as close as he can to the back of D'Amico here. Is he going to fancy a run up the inside into Le Cobb? It's going to be close between the two. Canton is going to try and be late on the brakes, but D'Amico's a little bit later, just gets on the brakes in time before Pagani appears in front of him there. And yeah, disaster is avoided, but they all stay in positions as they were. But you can tell Pagani is really struggling. He's fallen 4 seconds off the lead now as they're all swarming to be first in the queue behind him.
He's driving really aggressively, but I think he's also trying to defend really aggressively because he wants to give a chance to his teammate Sequeira to try and come back. I think he's trying to just slow down the pack enough. Of course, Sequeira at the moment just needs to basically defend P1, but any points you get is a good point.
Well, this is all playing into the hands of Marco Lodi Rosini and Manuel Norris so far, isn't it? Because they are 5 seconds up the road from all of this battling and looking in a very, very strong position indeed. But of course, Abel Sequeira is just gotten himself back into the top 10 behind Gendosi, another one of his teammates, of course. So it'd be interesting to see.
Right, but the only threat that Sequeira has is Rabiti, which is P7. And, if you're Pagani at this point, you're just trying to block
sorry to
everyone.
interrupt, because here comes D'Amico up the inside of Pagani on the run into Blanchimont, and he's going to aggressively force his way through there. So the BMW got a great run. Here comes Canton. He takes the move on Pagani. Now he's trying to go for D'Amico. Look at this. Palumbo really laying the brakes in the background, side by side between Canton and Pagani, who was forced wide on the exit of the bus stop there. So Pagani loses 2 positions in quick succession there, and D'Amico is now back on the podium.
As Palumbo now needs to defend from Rabiti.
The sister Simfrim. Yeah, look at this. Palumbo almost up the inside of Pagani already. So we could have to... This is tough times for Pagani. Does he go for an early stop and compromise his strategy potentially? Or does he stick it out here and hope he just doesn't lose too much time?
Well, as I said, I think he's just trying to block everyone else. And if he can block Rabiti, which is the only threat that Sequeira has, as I said before, that, all the better.
Yep, here we go then.
Look
the outside, you can see him getting the run from the slipstream from behind D'Amico, and he uses it to get back past Davide Canton into 4th position there. So Canton, all that hard work, and he finds himself losing positions rather than getting himself on the podium there, as everybody really flirting with the gravel there on the exit of Malmedy into Bruxelles, the very long constant radius downhill right-hander. And then into Speaker's Corner then, and you can tell, as you say, Pagani continuing to defend as D'Amico starts to disappear up the road in front of all of them, much to the frustration of the three cars behind.
Yeah, whenever we have a long shot on a long straight, potentially like the Kamel straight, we could see Sequeira popping in the background. So he's definitely closing in. At the moment, he's 5 seconds off, roughly 5 seconds off for Bitti.
Yeah, and he's closing in on Gandosi there in that fight for P9
Which I expect
there.
he would move over, I think.
Well, let's see what mood Gandosi is in today then, if he's in a fighting mood or a team player mood. But yeah, either way, I think would be interesting to see then as Pagani continues to keep all three of Canton, Palumbo and Robiti at bay behind him. Van Ginneken is only about 3 seconds adrift as well, so he'll be the next to join the train, I guess, if you're given the opportunity.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing. This merge that they did, MCM and Tomelli, if Gandosi doesn't let Sequeira through, I don't know how long-lived this partnership will be.
This is sort of Gandosi. I was not informed of this merge. It's a bit late. Late to say that, but
it's not like he has to move, of course, but move over. But I mean,
it's true. There isn't really a teams championship here technically.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's also been controversial in another Le Mans Ultimate Series that I commented on VMS, where the Tatum Esports drivers, even though it's not teams championship, they were sort of working together to help Fabio Grigolato, and I know Jene Simoncic, who was basically the only RAF Esports driver there, was not impressed.
We saw that.
Yeah, so if you watch his stream, it's quite the funny one. But yeah, nonetheless. What's happened?
Penny fourth. What happened?
Yeah, I saw that Rokon was starting to catch him, and I think Paolo is at a spin somewhere. The number 42 then, falling out of the podium. That gives Giuseppe Pastore third position of Rokon back into the runners-up position. So that's good for his championship hopes, but now he is 7.5 seconds behind Christian Malguera then. So it's already down to Rokon. This is sort of it is a 28-point gap, so I think he needs Malguera to hit real trouble, but it is sort of a winner-takes-all, because the difference between first and second is, let's say...
I think
it's about 6.5 points, yeah.
The only way for Rokon to win would be for Malguera to DNF. Because he cannot finish lower than P10.
And there's Gandosi making a mistake at Speaker's Corner and deciding to concede, as now Malguera being held up here.
Yeah, he would still get a lot of points, enough points to basically secure the championship, even finishing 10th. So I don't know if he DNFs, if he actually gets the points worth of P10, or if you DNF, you get 0 points. It's a bit of a question for the admins, because I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, at the moment, Malguera...
I was hoping for a little bit of a calm moment to talk about this update they've done to LMU, the new tire model. Not to yap about the tire model specifically, but just to say that obviously the cars now drive quite differently from before, and maybe some of these, it's only GT3s, right? Maybe some of these hierarchies that we've seen in the first races, they're not really totally respected, because some drivers gel more with this tire model, which is a little bit more I don't want to say it, but it's more like towards iRacing than it's always been in RF2. So yeah, maybe that's also something else. And setups also needed to be changed, to be reworked, to be figured out. And I wonder, if some people maybe put more time into them, but they just generally feel better driving a car that's a little bit, I guess it requires a little bit more smoothness now driving. It's a little bit cleaner. Maybe in the past, the old tire model was a little too forgiving,
Yeah,
really
it definitely
easy.
requires a bit more finesse, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
I think it's the GT3s that have had the most changes in the last update on the tire model in particular, isn't it?
Sorry. I guess the GT3s are basically like the guinea pig at the moment for tire models. Right? They just get all the changes, and we're still waiting for a year for a hypercut tire, which, I mean, it has been confirmed it will arrive in January, but so far, I think to this day it's still the worst car to drive at the moment, the worst class to drive.
Yeah, I think I was talking to trying to remember the drivers. It was, I think it was Nicholas Hupen I was talking to, and he said he switched to GT Freeze because he didn't like the tire model in the hypercars. So yeah, I think he would very much be of the same opinion as you. Then I think I'm purely from a spectator point of view. I do really like the hypercars because I think the racing is quite fun to watch, but admittedly, it's usually GT Freeze that's consistently a bit closer, especially in EEC. At the minute, then, as you can see there, Rocon's lost a lot of time lapping the traffic, and you see Pen and Pede is about to lose a bit as well. You can tell Rabiti has been challenging Palumbo. It's interesting, whenever they get to the bus stop chicane, he brakes really late around the outside. The previous lap, he tried to go a little bit off track to try and make a move on the exit of the final corner there, and unsurprisingly, it didn't quite work to his advantage then. But yeah, look at that gap between Norris and D'Amico. 7 seconds now. So D'Amico's not really been closing in on Manuel Norris. If anything, he's still sort of just fallen back in that third place then. And you can see Pagani still leading that big train of Canton, Palumbo and Rabiti then. As here comes Tavanari through to lap the GT3 leaders, and he gets very sideways. Almost looked like, was that Vianney maybe giving him a little bit of a little tap there?
Hip check.
Yeah, definitely that was intentional either way. As you can see there, Abel Sequeira. Oh, he has a bit of a sideways moments too. He's got is that Sequeira? Sorry, I think that might be one of the other. I'm getting mixed up. That's Pagani, isn't it? It's definitely one of the. Oh no, this is Kaneshi. So it is Sequeira in front of him.
Yeah, we're out of out of the top 10.
Yeah, I saw it's Gan and Can. They mixed me up a bit there. I wasn't sure who was in 10th behind Sakura there, but it is indeed Gandosi holding off Kaneshi then, with Vianney in 12th position, trying in vain to get into the top 10 at the moment. But the Aston, I don't think it quite has the grunt that the BMW has, and I think that's why Sakura is having a bit of a better time of it at the moment.
Yeah, although, I mean, Sakura has always been very quick on that BMW.
Very true.
Yeah, so I think in general, the car is pretty good. Yeah, another thing that actually happened with this update is that, right, look at this. We all have front engine cars, and now with this update, it's basically reversed. So the mid-engine cars now are more competitive, in some cases way too competitive.
You mean like the Mercedes, essentially?
Well, no, I mean, especially the Porsche and the McLaren are absolutely, well, I mean, they're in a class of their own. They're like a GT 3.5, yeah, or a GT 2.5 if you think that GT2 is
It's interesting because usually the Porsche is quite bemoaned as the least favoured car, and now all of a sudden, you're right, it's actually become a really tidy little package then, as you can see there, while letting the Cadillac through there. That was Bruschke. I think Pagani lost a little bit of time there, but that's backed. That's not Pagani, is it? This is that 11th place battle, isn't it? So yeah, Gandosi is backing Kaneshi into Nico Vianney, isn't he? So yeah, Vianney now to the outside as they go through Blanchimont towards the bus stop chicane. And the Aston Martin tries to brake late around the outside, but he's going to find the door firmly shut. And Kaneshi turns across him, so Vianney's going to get through. But look at this, Ricciardiello is also going to try and pounce through. And this is important for Ricciardiello. He gets past one car. He's up the inside of his teammate then, who surely isn't going to fight him too hard here. But it's going to go late on the brakes into La Source there. And Nico Vianney just holds on to 11th place. So bit of a controversial moment there. Vianney kept his nose in and saw Kaneshi just sort of turn in on him.
That's so, going from bad to worse potentially for Vianney now with Ricciardiello, the championship contender, right on all over his back.
Yeah, so Ricciardiello, of course, 20 points behind, but if he starts to make big progress here, and there's still an hour to go, could be a big threat then. We are starting to see, as we're nearly 45 minutes into the race, or nearly 40 minutes in, I should say, the fuel tank's running ever so slightly low. Then as we looked at Mike Bell there, trailing Federico Suave.
Bell running out the top 10, which is also the last position. He's usually, I think he's not usually the fastest guy. He won't hate me for saying this, but
he's pretty consistent. That's the main selling point of Mike Bell. He's very consistent.
Yeah, he's consistent. Let's say that. But today, I feel like he's struggling a little bit more than maybe. Maybe it's the Cadillac. Maybe it's the Cadillac that's not really suiting this track very well.
Well, I mean, I've seen drivers like Chan get really, really good results at the Cadillac. So
Yeah, but then
that was in the wet though. So
it's not a fair comparison, I think.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, so yeah, completely different championship. But yeah, Mike Bell, I think, still getting to grips, and him and Suave just seem to be locked together wherever they race. Then, so they always seem to have a really good battle for the wooden spoon in a position in hypercar.
But actually, this reminds me. Actually, the update actually introduced another thing, which is the rear road, which is
and round goes. Is that Van Ginneken?
Yeah.
No, I think actually that might have been Canton, sorry. So there's Van Ginneken, who has just got past him then. So Davide Canton just dropped it on his own too early, and the wheels spun at the rear, absolutely lit up, and he's fallen from 5th down to 8th.
Yeah, as I was saying, well, very unfortunate here for Canton, which I think he got tapped into a spin. We couldn't really see it very well, but as I was saying, the rear road is just effectively the rubber line now has been extended, been made bigger, and that also helps the driving. And they've introduced a bit of let's say first version of wet lines in the game. Unfortunately, we have no rain today, and it's not forecast.
So you're absolutely right. It was Palumbo. I was just looking back. It was Palumbo that tapped Canton round, so it wasn't on his own. And then Palumbo, in the process, has let Rabidi through. Well, because he's delayed by the contact, Rabidi was able to get through and into 5th position. So that's crucial for the man trying to keep his Division 1 chances against Sequeira alive there. So yeah, big moment. Anyway, not as important as the real road, obviously. So it's a bit wider, and the rubber's going to still be laid down in a slightly more realistic way, which is exactly what you want to see.
Okay.
So meanwhile, the lead has started to heat up again. So Marco Lodrosini's been caught by Manuel Norris the last couple of laps. The gap is back down to almost 1 second again. And D'Amico has also rallied a little bit, only just under 7 seconds behind our two leaders then. So it's definitely pretty wide open in the battle for the win at the moment. But Marco Lodrosini taking the lead early on, staying out of trouble, has really benefited from all the chaos that happened ahead of him. And now he's really got to defend as Manuel Norris starts to rally and recover here.
Yeah, as in hypercar, I think Malgera's feeling way better now. He's starting to pull away from Rocon.
Miraculous recovery from illness.
Crazy. Just the thought of winning the championship is enough. As Giuseppe Pastore is actually closing in on Rocon.
Yeah, there we go. So Rocon had made good progress to get from 7th to 2nd in the opening phase of this race. Now sees a bit of a threat from behind. Penimpede as well is only about 5 seconds behind. So I think it's a big fight for 2nd brewing in Hypercar 2 as we go back to the 2 sim frames of Rabiti and Palumbo. So yeah, Palumbo has only got a remote chance in Division 2 of beating. In fact, you're right, he doesn't have a mathematical chance at all. So it sort of makes sense not to fight Simone Rabidi too hard. As you can just see it, that there was the inflatable arm floating tube man in the background at Spa, which is always nice detail.
Had a great time.
Yeah, or just a happy little yellow guy. But anyway, the 2 sim frames here, especially weren't they the 2 that hit each other in Qatar as well? Was it Rabidi and Palumbo? I seem to remember it was.
I think it was Ricciardiello.
It was Ricciardiello, sorry. But yeah, I think after that, it makes sense for Simframe to work together rather than fight against each other for 5th position here. Because, yeah, Pagani still could be a little bit vulnerable here at this phase. As you can see in the background, Van Ginneken, Canton, still a little bit adrift of this fight here.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive for Simframe with 3 cars in the same championship. They're still trying to make it harder on themselves.
Certainly, yeah. And you can see there, somewhat confusingly, there's Gandosi in 10th and Kaneshi in in 12, which is what I got
It's
mixed
different
up with
colours,
earlier.
come on. It's
That's
different
true.
colours.
True. The color is different, but but yeah, Gandosi definitely a firm G there, and he's starting to fall away from Sequeira, who, because of that spin for Davide Canton, is only about Canton and Kineshi. Those are the two that I do actually get mixed up with. And again, they're different colors, so you're right, I shouldn't. One's in a Mercedes, which is the other big giveaway. But yeah, Canton is got Sequeira slowly rather quickly actually catching up to the back of him in that fight with Van Ginneken for P7 then, as we continue to watch Palumbo starting to drop away from Rabiti, who's right behind Nicola Pagani now by the tune of 6/10. You can just see right in front of them the battle raging on as they go into the bus stop, as we now look at the battle for P2, isn't it? This is this Giuseppe Pastore chasing down Michele Rocon in the sim frame.
Yeah, I think it's also coming about the time for the hypercars to actually pit. We're at about 43 minutes now, and I think they cannot stretch it to 50 minutes. So it's going to be interesting to see, and they will have to splash and dash.
Bit of battling going on behind between Bortolin and Tavanari as they swap positions 2 times in the last couple of seconds there. But I think Bortolin holding on to that P5 as there's a bit of a train behind him. Tavanari, Nicky Pastore, and that's it. It's just those two behind him. So I was about to say Prushki as well.
It's a short train. It's a short train.
That's true. You only need 2 cars to make a train, though, as they say.
Yeah.
It's a very short train, but nonetheless. But anyway, here comes Pastore, who is gearing up, I think, as a Giuseppe Pastore, sorry. I didn't specify, and then I specified the wrong one, so that shows you the pitfall. But yeah, Rocon under a lot of pressure. Is the gap to Margera at nearly 14 seconds already at this early phase of the race, but you can tell Giuseppe Pastore not quite enough grunt down the Camel Straight for the Porsche to get ahead and make a straightforward move here. So he's going to have to outsmart the Ferrari to get into second place here. As we see, Suave has been the first to blink, so that's going to hand 9th place to Mike Bell here.
Yeah, I'm roughly about when I said it. I think these cars can probably extend the stint maybe by 1 or 2 more laps, but they will have to pit basically right there.
And that sort of guarantees this is effectively going to be a 2-stop as well for the hypercars.
For sure, yes.
Whereas you might see 1 or 2 of the GT3s gamble on a 1-stop.
I think GT3s have it in their best interest, especially here at Spa, where the pit lane is quite long, even though technically they're not using the endurance one, that one is really long.
Oh, big moment for Giuseppe Pastore, and he's in the gravel at Stavolo there. So big mistake. He just lost downforce suddenly while trying to trail Michele Rocon, as in comes one of the Mercedes. So Pagani is in, and it's Van Ginneken that's followed him. So very early from those two, so they're committing to the 2-stop as well. It's very easy to run out of fuel at Spa. And who's that also coming in? Is that that must be Gandosi?
It must be, yeah. Also,
and our race leader Malgera, of course. So yeah, we should expect Rocon to follow, followed by the rest of the hypercar field.
Well, that's really strange. I was sure that you could technically do 50 to 55 minutes in GT3s, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe with the latest update, they also changed the amount of fuel.
Could be that fuel consumption's maybe even higher for the GT3s here, or for certain cars, perhaps. Yeah, but because certainly
fair, we haven't had time to drive on this track yet, competitively, let's say. So I don't know. Like I don't have.
Oh, look at that though! Vert Challenger giving slightly more helpful readings now, and you can see Manuel Norris actually saved quite a lot, 12%, and Nicky Pastore and Bruschke doing another lap then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how correct that is because Suave is still 100%, but I think we'll have to see.
Well, he was the first to pit though. He was the first to pit. So Suave pit the lap before, so that would make sense.
That's true. It hasn't crossed the line yet, so maybe it hasn't updated yet. Yeah. So
it could be that they're going to try and gamble the second stint, maybe, and that's why they're putting so much virtual energy in. Try and get to the end without doing the ever stop, but it could be risky.
No, I don't think they can do a full hour on.
They had to splash and dash then.
Yeah.
Well, there we go then. The strategies will play out. You can see, actually, I think there's been some activity there. Mike Bell also carrying on, I think. So Marghera's gone out. Pede has jumped Rokon and Giuseppe Pastore. Was he already ahead of Giuseppe Pastore? Yeah, it was Nicky that was fighting with him, wasn't it? So, oh no, it was the other way around. It was Giuseppe Pastore. So Giuseppe Pastore has lost out a bit by putting on more virtual energy then, as bit of a wide exit there from, is that Tavanari?
Yes.
Yeah, looked a bit like the wheel had sort of was not behaving itself in terms of steering there, so you had to really get it to turn on the sort of mini Lassource hairpin on the exit of the pit lane. There we go. We see more activity in the pits as Palumbo, Rabidi, Canton, Sequeira, D'Amico, Riccardiello all rush in, then, and that means our top two are going an extra lap compared to everybody else. Nico Viani, crucially, is also going another lap along with Ortenzi.
Marco Lodrizzini and Manuel Norris have been chilling so far. They were pushing, but they also saved. Well, Norris way more for sure than Lodrizzini, but that's impressive for sure. And Mastrota, wow, Mastrota even better than Norris.
Well, Mastrota has been
much further back, but
that's true. Yeah, so he's definitely been going slower to save that energy. As we see now, Nicky Pastore and Francesco Bruschi both coming in for their pit stops. So we should see Mike Bell in on 1% as well. And that should hand the lead back to Marghera. But interesting strategy from Pede to get track position here over Rokon. It'd be fascinating to see where Nicky Pastore emerges out of this as well.
Yeah, he's right now in the pit, so maybe you can go and see how that pans out.
But there is Manuel Norris still chasing down Lotto Rizzini. It very much feels like a two-horse race at the moment for the win between these two, the way it's playing out. But there is a danger that they could get undercut by the likes of Palumbo, who's the leader of those who pit. Yellow flag somewhere out on track.
Well, I mean, I tell you what, if my assumptions are right, so if they cannot go too long with the stint, every single lap that Marco Lodrizzini and Manuel Norris are doing basically sends them closer and closer to the one-stop strategy, while everyone else will have to do two stops. So basically they're like, I don't know, they're perfectly safe at this point.
Yeah.
As they probably both come in?
No, just Lotto Rizzini. So it's Norris that was saving a bit more behind, that's able to get at least one more extra lap, 5% then. So that should be one lap, definitely. Because he started it, but yeah, we should see Viani in now at the same time as there's Bortolin and car number 100 being serviced as well.
Yeah, so at this point, I think Norris is actually going for one single stop.
Yeah, it could be on the bubble for Lotto Rizzini and Viani as well. As in comes Viani now in the background. There is Marghera back in the lead once again. Only 9-10 seconds ahead of Pede. So Pede, maybe he didn't change tires or something because he gained a good almost 9 or 10 seconds there for the pit lane. As we see a bit of battling between Nicky Pastore and Tavanari. So Nicky Pastore's come out right behind Luca Tavanari, who's undercut him.
I mean, looking at the way he's losing time from Marghera really, really quickly now, I think maybe he actually didn't change tires and everyone else did around. Although now, well, hold on, he's closing in very fast now. I guess
it could be Marghera being held up by traffic. Yes, exactly. And yeah, certainly Penebede's got the confidence. That's Tavanari being held up behind one of the Mercedes, and that gives an opportunity here for Nicky Pastore, who of course has got slightly fresher tires in Ferry as well in that number 70 Ferry. And yeah, Nicky Pastore, after certainly tripping up over traffic early in the race, sort of in a fight to get back into that 5th position. And he's been making good progress. Let's just hope he doesn't have to do another recovery, because I think he's probably feeling a little bit annoyed with himself and the other drivers, indeed, probably over what happened earlier on. Meanwhile, his brother Giuseppe about 5 seconds behind Michele Rokon, and Rokon is closing on Pede almost 3 seconds in this lap alone. So yeah, I think Pede is starting to feel the pain of those old tyres. As round the outside of Riccardiello comes Andrea Gandosi, but the Italian fends his countryman off into La Source, but it's Gandosi that gets the better exit in the BMWs. They go downhill, and he's going to take that P11 off of Riccardiello's hands. So not what Riccardiello needed in his Division 2 championship hopes against Viani.
Yeah, nice overtake. But I think Viani now is all over the back of Sequeira, or at least it looks like. I think we're having issues with the gaps because they seem to jump a lot. Sometimes they go from below a second to up to above 3. So
Pastore making a move. Oh, just having to back out in the background there as he laps Gendosi, and now desperately
Norris in the
tries
pits.
to pass Tavanari. He has passed him. There we go. I think Tavanari went wide onto the gravel, and Nicky Pastore says, "Thank you very much. I'll take that P5 off your hands." So he's now 32 seconds off of the next car, of course. But yeah, Nicky Pastore crucially made the move as early as possible. So Norris finally makes his first stop with 52 minutes on the clock, and Marco Mastrota also makes his first pit stop ever in EC this season, at least.
That was a cautious entry.
Yeah, well, no sense risking it. I've seen many drivers damage their cars, including losing wheels, by being too aggressive on the pit entry there, with the wall it's so narrow, it's like a maze essentially. As you can see one of the sim frames also being serviced in the background there. There is Lodi Rizzini. So I think that must have been Palumbo, I think, serving his pit stop. It just didn't show the pit next to his icon there. And it looks like Manuel Norris has got a massive overcut here and has retained the lead over Marco Lodi Rizzini.
I think Palumbo actually jumped Lodi Rizzini. I don't think he's in the pits.
Oh, there we go then. So Lodi Rizzini must have lost a lot of time somehow.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how that's happened, but either way, brilliant work from both Norris and Palumbo to get ahead of him.
He lost what? He's currently 23 seconds.
Was it just a slower stop? Was it just a slower stop? Maybe they
20 seconds is a lot to be slow.
Yeah.
I think he either made a mistake in the pits, maybe. But it's more likely he spun or had an issue with another car.
Yeah, I think we might have seen a brief yellow. I didn't see quite where it was, but that could well have been Lodi Rizzini then. So, yeah, he's still within touching distance of Palumbo, and I think Palumbo definitely has gained a bit of ground by not changing tyres as round the outside almost immediately. Oh! Was that Palumbo there, or was that someone else? I think. But either way, the lapped car, that's a big moment.
I think it was Salvatore Pastore, which we haven't seen once today. Yeah,
the 87 in the wall. And he's going to hit the wall again. Dear.
That's not the most optimal way to to restart. I think it's on Pastore, this one. He thought he was leaving enough room, but to be fair, there was nowhere for Lodi Rizzini to go other than around the outside there. So I think it was just a little too optimistic. Thought maybe give a little bit enough room, but not quite enough.
Oh, God, this is painful to watch. He's going to just avoid the wall as he spins it around and gets back in the race. That was good. That was a good,
nice.
Good 180 there as he gets going, and the yellow flag disappears at the exit of Malmedy. And now, meanwhile...
dusty Lexus.
Oh, is this Abel Sequeira in a bit of a battle with... Mastrota, there we go. I'm going to remember that name eventually. As round the outside goes Michele Rocon, desperately trying to chase down Paolo Penimpede, who, according to time screens, is only a 10th behind, which I didn't see Paolo there, so that's slightly hard to believe. But here is Sequeira now in 8th position with Mastrota gaining a lot of time with his later pit stop. Maybe he put a little bit... wouldn't make sense to put less fuel in, so maybe it's a virtual energy thing, but he's not. He's going very wide on the entry down into Blanchimont, so leaves plenty of room. Rabiti is nipping at their heels as well, and it's crucial for Abel Sequeira that Rabiti is as far away from him as possible. But yeah, it looks like Matroza just not wanting to be part of that fight whatsoever.
Well,
there we go.
Actually, was close to Penny.
That must have been Suave then. That must have been Suave. I was getting my Simframe hypercars mixed up. So yeah, it is Rocon here that is very much under pressure from Penimpede on the fresher tyres. Side by side, though, between Tavanari and Nicky Pastore, and Nicky Pastore fends him off. So it looked like Luca Tavanari in the Cadillac was fighting back there a little bit.
Yeah, Paolo definitely didn't change tyres or has put himself in a position
where
Rocon's
through now. Rocon's through, so he's
yeah.
clearly made a small mistake in the final sector there.
I think the point is just that he's put himself in a position where he's handicapped himself with potentially, I don't know, maybe not enough fuel or not enough virtual energy or older tires. Yeah, for sure. He's not. That's not his true pace today. He's shown that he's quite competitive today. So I think he's definitely finding some issues that, as I said, he probably put himself into those issues to gain track position.
Yeah, it's always a gamble when you decide to sort of double stint the tires, because it depends on the update in the gate. Because I've seen sometimes it's a viable strategy. It's a Circuit de la Sarthe at Le Mans, for
Well,
instance.
I can tell you, in real life, you would never double stint tires if you didn't have to. The reason why you have to do it in the WC and well, in IMSA as well. Well, no, not really in IMSA because they always change tires. But the way they do it is because they have limited tire sets. If you didn't have those, if you didn't have those, you could just change tires every single stint, and it would be just better, Because the thing is, these tires have a massive drop off. They seem to be okay. Like they go pretty quick in the first 5 laps, then they start dropping off and plateau a little bit, and then in the final 8 laps they're just undrivable. So if you keep on going on those, well, not undrivable, right? But they definitely drop off a lot. And if you do the second stint and the third stint, it's not nice. Like in real life, you see sometimes even 3 to 5 seconds off per lap because they have to manage it and because the tires are just generally not, not up to speed anymore. In the game, it's a little bit less severe than that, but still, pretty okay, pretty accurate. You can still be 2 seconds off on the second stint.
So we're looking at the moment at who is this? It's one of the Symphorines being chased down by. This is the 6th place battle, is it? Is this?
Luca D'Amico.
Yeah, Luca D'Amico.
Kanesk.
And it's Kaneshi. Kenesk. I don't know which one you would pronounce it, but here comes D'Amico, who's breaking late on the outside, and Marcello Kaneshi all going side by side through Lecombe there. Leaves just enough room for the BMW as D'Amico sweeps around the outside and up into 5th past the Lexus there. So, yeah, I was a bit confused because on the timing screen, Kaneshi is Symphorine, but it's showing green next to his name. So I thought he was a different team entirely.
That's a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, but that might just be to differentiate Kaneshi from Canton.
As Bortolin is P10.
There we go. So Mattia Bortolin, he was the last to pit, wasn't he? One of the last ones to pit in Hypercar. So clearly, all is not well at the wheel of the DC racing car.
Well, I need to check with the standings, but I think he would still win this way.
He was, 6 points ahead of Bruschke, who's 7th.
He wouldn't. Bruschke would be P1.
Yeah, because Suave and Bell are both in that same championship as well. So, yeah, this is not looking good for Mattia Bortolin.
45 points, right? It would be Tavernari would be the P1. So Bruschke would be P2 in Division 2, which is 37.5 points. And Bortolin would be
P5, isn't he?
P5, yeah. Which is 27. Yeah, that's not enough. That would be 10 points.
So he needs to pass Bell and Suave, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's 26 seconds off Mike Bell. Wow.
Well, we've seen this before, wasn't it? Most notably, was it Silverstone where Bortolin had those huge issues with his wheel that cost him a load of time. So
that's like rotten luck. Wow.
Yeah, not much that Mattia Bortolin could really have done. He was looking good for P7 up to that point, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was looking good in the wet. But unless he's trying to do something crazy and not stop, but I don't know. Honestly, he's losing time as well.
Yeah, speaking of losing time, Palumbo is starting to really hemorrhage time because look, Lodi Rosini is catching him at a rate of knots here. So the 2 Lexus cars are about to do battle. And this is crucial for Lodi Rosini's race because Manuel Norris, I don't think he changed tyres either because that's why he's got the huge gap on Palumbo. And he's been sort of matching Palumbo's lap times here. So it's crucial Lodi Rosini closes that gap before the next pit stop phase.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the first one that changed tires was Lodrizzini, and Norris and Palumbo actually didn't. Yeah, makes sense. I don't think he made a mistake or had a crash. It's just that generally he lost 12 seconds out of changing tires.
Yeah, a monumental gamble then for our top 2 in GD3. Mr. Koffelinas is Pastores, and speaking of them, Giuseppe Pastore is within 4/10 of Pen and Pede now. as Rokon has pulled about 6 seconds clear of both of them then. So here is that battle. You can see the light blue and black and yellow Team Shiba of Pastore closing in on the blue, black and white Armed Subrica of Paolo Penimpede here. So yeah, Penimpede, he said he was in a bad mood pre-race. He's going to be in an even worse one if Giuseppe Pastore clears him very easily here. And he saw Rokon fly right past him within a couple of laps, defended as best he could, but it definitely feels like Penimpede is trying to delay the inevitable here, because Giuseppe Pastore just looks so much quicker at the moment.
I don't know. It's like he always puts himself in Harge's position on his own. Like I don't understand. We've seen him putting too little. Well, actually, too much. Was it too much virtual energy in Monza? I think it was, where he lost the position he was in. Getting the drive-through for track limits in Silverstone, where it was P3. And I don't know. He just cannot catch a break, I think.
No, he can't. As we see 42 minutes left on the clock then, and Giuseppe Pastore, very, very late on the brakes into the bus stop. So yeah, Paolo Penimpede, of course, got his first podium in Qatar, and into the pits he comes. So a very early second stop there. So he could definitely make it to the end from here, but this is him cutting his losses, it feels like.
We're not in person. I cannot look at you in the eye, but if we were, I would definitely look you in the eye. I would be like, what? Why did he pit? I think I can only think he got a penalty. This is definitely one of the points of the race. I think it's not too long of a race, but Spa is very unforgiving with track limits. Very easy to run off and get a drive through for track limits, which I think this might be the situation. I will get a confirmation. Otherwise, I just have no idea. I just literally have no idea.
Well, we can guess. Penimpede. Certainly it's a fairly lengthy pit lane, isn't it? So if it was just a drive-through, either way, he's dropped down to P7. There we go. Could have been a drive-through. Then yellow flag somewhere out on track, as we see Lodi Rosini did actually pass Palumbo while we were a bit distracted there, and got up into P2. So that's absolutely critical for his race. As you can see, Malguera 21 seconds out of Rokon, now coming through to lap on man who's back into second place.
Yeah, I was looking at the points. Lodrizzini cannot win the championship, even by winning the race, because he's currently at 49 points behind. Abel Sequeira, currently P7. But he can make a pretty big leap. He can go
Well, he's fighting Norris directly, isn't he?
Actually, no, he can go P2. He can go P2 and tie with points with Zitiello, which is missing from this race. I mean, we haven't talked about it, but Zitiello is currently P2 in the standings.
Yeah, that's probably why we haven't talked about it. Here comes Pagani.
Well, we haven't talked about the fact that he wasn't here. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's not Pagani, is it? That's Sequeira making a move. He's fighting away, I think, with Ricciardiello. So these two have been having a big battle here, as that looks like is that Katrina Edmonds in 19th, just letting both of them through there and going side by side. Spinning around Ricciardiello. Oh, no. Was that Ricciardiello? Oh, it's one of the Simfrims. Rabiti, sorry, yeah, I'm getting mixed up, but Rabiti's facing the wrong way and desperately trying to right the car. No, it's Kaneshi,
It was Kaneski.
Yeah. We've got to tell there's like 4 Simframe cars and we keep getting them all wrong as he knocks out the cone in frustration as well. Poor Marcello Kaneshi. It was sort of friendly fire from the Simframe Esports Pink team that have gotten themselves in a little bit of hot water after Qatar, wasn't it? Was it Bordelin that collided with one of them, I think.
Yeah, it's not nice. It's not a nice thing to see for sure. Your job as a back marker is to hold your line. If you want to move over, make it predictable, but definitely don't crash into your teammate.
It certainly did not look intentional. It looked like a big misjudgment in terms of like the car just sort of understeered and there wasn't quite enough space for the sister Simframe or the brother Simframe, as it may be.
I'm not sure Kaneski will care.
He certainly won't view it that way. He will unleash his vitriol via Steward's report, I'm sure, as Penimpede has gone back into the pit. So I think something is very wrong on that BMW there. So there may have been a penalty, and maybe now he's pushed a bit too hard, gotten another one for track limits, and that's really putting him at a big disadvantage. Of course, doesn't really help Borderline either, because Penipede is Division 1, so even though Bordlin is now within about 10 seconds of him, it's not going to make too much difference in the end. Meanwhile, this is Mastrojka. I keep getting his last name wrong.
Mastrota. Or
Mastrota, not Mastrojka. I don't know why I turned him Russian there, but but Mastrota just keeping. This is it Van Ginneken that's all over the back of him at the present moment, or is it Canton?
We have no way to know. Generally, we have no way to know.
I think it might be Canton then, because I think he got back past Van Ginneken after the pits. Because he certainly had slightly better pace as he goes very, very wide, dips a wheel onto the gravel, does the Mercedes, and Marco Mastrota now can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. Palumbo has come in, I assume, for his final stop then, after he was hemorrhaging time, wasn't he? So this feels, if you're going to cut your losses, now's about the time to pit for your final stop then. So Palumbo now going for the undercut to try and put pressure, I think, on Lorenzini and Norris again.
I don't know. I think it's a little premature as a stop. It might be another drive-through.
Oh, could be.
Let's see if we can see him.
And that could very much end his hopes then if it gives the initiative to Vianney. Van Ginneken, it is Van Ginneken. There we go. Well, that gives us the answer then. I did call it wrong. Cantor must be a bit further back if he is indeed still in the race. Because we're going to get informed when a car retires, it just disappears.
I think that was a legit pit stop.
Oh, look at that. You saw Mastrota had to give way to the hypercar. They're going into Eau Rouge and Radion. That's allowed Van Ginneken to absolutely take advantage, but he almost has to back out of that one. Caught him a little bit too early.
I believe he went off the track and technically gained an advantage. So the game actually tells you to slow down. And
there we go.
Yeah,
it is difficult to go side by side for Eau Rouge and Radion, as we've seen numerous instances of.
Yeah, well,
meanwhile,
when the driver in front of you brakes or has to, is impeded and has to slow down, definitely isn't easy. And, it's one of those moves, right, where as a racing steward or as a racing fan, usually two things don't go together, it seems.
Oh, here we go. Around the outside, up the inside then, into Pujon comes Frank Van Ginneken, late on the brakes, but much too late. Back down the inside goes Mastrota, and brilliant, just to take advantage of that mistake there. So yeah, Mastrota has certainly made a good first impression here, and is holding off Van Ginneken quite convincingly, even if he hasn't really got the ultimate pace in this one.
Not the smartest of moves, I'd say. As he goes again. On the
and
inside.
Here comes another one, just bowl up the inside into Stavolo, and this time Mastrota's got no recourse. It very much looks like not just the Brazilian flag, but Ayrton Senna's helmet on Mastrota's livery there as well.
Yeah, I believe. Well, I don't believe. I'm actually 100% sure this is the livery that was used in Interlagos.
Okay.
It's a WRT livery. Farfus was driving this one, so that's why. Well, I mean, it was in Brazil, of course, but also Farfus was driving this one.
Good old Augusto Farfus. I remember Farfus from the DTM as well, where he competed for several years for BMW.
Yeah, I mean, as of late, he's been the target of some nice memes by Corvette drivers.
Another pit stop being made in the background with 34 minutes to go, as that looks like second place car of Rokon just lapping these two. Incidentally, Pagani is starting to close slightly on Lodi Rosini, but Lodi Rosini has eaten into the gap to Manuel Norris. It's gone from 14 seconds to 9 seconds now. So yeah, Lodi Rosini is very much in play here, but it's a case of, are they going to have to do their splash and dash? Or Norris might be trying to one-stop it, which is why he's also not changed tyres, because he wants that to spend as least time in the pit lane as possible. So Lodi Rosini did pit the lap before, didn't he? So this could be really, really tense if Lodi Rosini's lower on fuel, but has got the better tyres here.
I think we can look at the V and maybe to assess the situation. I don't know exactly what's going on. As I said, I think Norris can make it to the end without.
But can he get to the end quick enough? Is the question here? Because Rosini is absolutely catching him, and if Rosini catches him, a load of Rosini catches him, maybe a Pagani might be in play as well, because he's not been exactly hanging around anymore in this race. I think he's sort of seen Sakura get up to fifth, and he's like, "Well, my work here is done," and now he's sped up a bit.
the gap when Norris pitted, which he pitted afterwards, after Lorenzini, was about 16 seconds, right? It was something about that, and so he's lost 8 seconds. That's not bad. I mean, that's
virtual
definitely
energy. And you can see Norris has actually got more in the tank than Lorenzini.
okay. He's going to he's definitely going to the end. Norris is definitely going to the end. I think he's saving too much, actually.
Yeah, Pagani actually has used way too much. Pagani is definitely going to have to pit before the end, where I think Rosini, D'Amico, Sequeira, Rabiti should be just might be a bit on the bubble, but they should be able to make these last 30 minutes without stopping.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. As I said, I don't have like a clear picture of the fuel consumption, but I think they might. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen. Certainly, if it depends when Margera comes through to lap them, could be a big factor in how the duty-free finish plays out as well. We nearly saw that at Qatar as well, didn't we? Well, the drivers of I don't know, it was the hypercars that were slowing down behind Margera, so they didn't have to do the extra lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had that situation where it was Penimpede that was just absolutely coasting over the line right at the end, and I think it was who was he fighting with? Was it Bruschke? I think that was doing the same thing as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really strange because in the final lap they all slowed down and were like, "Oh, are they out of fuel?" And no, they were just literally waiting for Margera to go through.
Yeah. It was interesting. Palumbo was making a fair bit of progress just inside the top 14, 13 now, having made his sort of out-of-sequence pit stop with everybody else. So it'd be fascinating to see when the likes of Pagani and co pit, whether he's able to jump them. But anyway, here is Manuel Norris. And look at that. Lorenzini is taking chunks out of him. You see lap 29, he gained 2.3 seconds. Lap 30, he gained 2.2 seconds. So, yeah, Norris is really coasting it around and hoping that something happens here. Because at the moment, Lorenzini is more than taking enough time out of him. And he's got a host of GD3s to lap here. This is a nightmare scenario for Manuel Norris at the moment. His strategy is not working out like he needs it to.
So such rotten luck now.
Sea of pink to negotiate here as well, and he flashes his lights at Katrina Edmonds, who is not going to be best pleased to get out of the way once again.
Yeah, if they ask him, what's your favorite color, we'll say, not pink.
I think Kenishi might be of a similar opinion after being knocked around. But yeah, here we go. There's a very close fight, actually, between that Ilaria, Finn, and Milanese at the head of this train here. Trying to keep it. It must be Kenishi right behind them.
Yeah, again, we're not really sure who's who, but yeah.
There's too many sim frames.
yeah, exactly. They should put some like accents on the mirrors or.
Well, I do like what Tamilioti did with the national flag on top, so it's easy to tell which one is Sequeira. It's usually just Ortenzi, Pagani, and Gendosi. They're a bit hard to tell because they're all Italian, of course.
Well, Ortenzi would be VDA, but yeah, I agree with you.
Oh, that's true. Oh, but he has got a national flag.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! We actually saw it right now, like right here in the flesh. Ortenzi probably went off the track and had to slow down not to get a penalty or not to get at least a warning.
And that's taken the pressure off Canton. And now Luca Palumbo is all over the back of him in his quest to get back into the top 10. Palumbo desperate to keep his Division 2, championship hopes against Vianney alive.
Long yellow.
Oh, and the 78 is in the wall again. Is that was that the car? It was Kenishi. Sorry. So yeah, that definitely has not helped him in his fight against the Sim from Esports pink cars, and I wonder if maybe there was some more contact there.
Well, I do. Well, no, they're behind.
Oh, they are behind. Okay, so
yeah.
Again, difficult to tell some of these sim frames apart then. But yeah, not a great day for Kenishi. Is there? We see more of the Sim for Esports pink cars being negotiated by Lorenzini. I think this is him getting past Katrina Edwards this time. You can see Manuel Norris is only less than 2 seconds up the road now. So Lorenzini is just absolutely flying here. And you can see that 10% less of virtual energy. That's the only thing that might have him a bit worried at this phase.
Yeah, I mean, I think he can make it. I think he can make it. It will be tight. It will definitely be tight. But I think if he's pushing this much, right, he's definitely in control.
Oh,
Like, at
look
this
at
point,
this.
it's his race to win.
You can see more of the 67 Symphony Sports pink. I think is that Finn, just ever so slightly holding up Manuel Norris there. And Lodi Ruzzini now has to deal with the same Lexus as look behind. That's the 47. I think that must be, is that Suave coming through to lap both of them as well. Luckily, they all go 3 wide and plenty of space for all of for the 2 Simfream cars and the Carloni Racing to get through unscathed then. So, yeah, certainly lap traffic playing its part here, but Lodi Ruzzini, his momentum looking completely unfazed here, and he is driven absolutely superbly to get himself into this position here. So having Norris ahead of him on the road at the moment presents a very clear target that he's got to pass to secure this win with absolute certainty.
This is going to be great.
Well, let's hope so.
It might not be.
I think Norris has just not already got the pace at the moment, but it's making a clean move that could be the challenge here.
Yeah, but you think he's going to move over? I don't think he will.
Well, not without a fight.
Not in the final race. Not in the final race.
Yeah, certainly they're fighting for third in that championship, aren't they? So Manuel Norris has he's certainly had some good performances so far this season. Most notably last time out, where he was he 3rd or 4th on the road in Division 1 in Qatar as well. So yeah, Manuel Norris has certainly been having a bit of a purple patch as of late, but it is Lodi Ruzzini that is closing into the back of him little by little as through comes Mike Bell to lap both of them. I think actually Norris kicked up a little bit of gravel there on exit of Paul Frere. So now is the opportunity for Marco Lodi Ruzzini to make this move then. Nicola Pagani running very, very low, by the way, behind them in 3rd on virtual energy. I think he's almost about to hit 10% then. So we're definitely going to see Pagani in before too long as we see, very, very, you could see the difference in the braking distance there. Lodi Ruzzini just so much later and more confident into the bus stop than Manuel Norris here. And I think, Daniele, it's going to be Kemmel Straight where Lodi Ruzzini is going to have his best opportunity.
We'll have to see. The BMW is very quick on the straight. We'll definitely have to see.
Look at Norris flashing his lights at the Simfream in front of him, begging it to get out of the way at the earliest opportunity here. He's doing it again. I think he knows this is not the best place to try and lap someone. He has to get off the throttle ever so slightly into Oruj and Radion, and Lodi Ruzzini is right on the back of him now, pulls to the left-hand side, and he's surely going to slingshot his way through into the lead of this race.
He's going to be boxed in now.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be tight into Lecom. Late on the brakes from Lodi Ruzzini. He just about takes the position and he gets himself in front, back into the lead in Belgium here with 25 minutes to go.
I thought he would actually catch up to the Lexus in front a lot quicker. You could see it. Norris definitely, was compromised. Compromised his line up Rouge, probably because of the lapped car in front. And that was basically textbook move, right? You go around the outside of Lecombe. We've seen it. I think it's a corner where we see this quite a few times. Not to downplay how good the move was, but obviously you have better tires. You're feeling more confident, and it's generally a corner that allows that sort of move. So he outbraked Norris and. Gain position 1 as Lexus in front almost. It made me stumble in my words.
One way to be lapped, isn't it?
That's a great way to move over. Yeah. I was looking at the standings this way. So Lodi Ruzzini would get 45 points, and he's currently 73. So 45 would be 108, which puts him tight with Zitiello. That would be P2. Now I don't know. What the
I don't think
be.
Zitello took any wins, so yeah, it would be, if it's best result, then at the moment Lodi Ruzzini is in good position, because I think Zitello got, a couple of podiums. I think he might have got best of 2nd place, if memory serves, Zitello. Oh no, he did win at Silverstone. Zitello did win at Silverstone, didn't he? So then it would be next best result for the both of them. Or Marco Lodi Ruzzini's, Marco Lodi Ruzzini's best result was 20 points. I think he got for 4th in class in Qatar. And Zitello has got, I think, 2 third places. So, yeah, if it was equal, then Zitello would still take the runners-up spot. Yeah,
Well,
Rabiti as well, not far behind in class as well in 6th position. So, I mean, it would still be a great win for Manuel Norris, and it would still get him a lot closer to the top 3, as we see Pagani inevitably having to serve that stop. So that lets D'Amico into 3rd, Sakura up to 4th, and Rabiti into 5th.
Definitely this will leave a bit of a sour taste in Marco Lorenzini's mouth, but yeah, I mean, I truly thought he could actually, crown this performance with actually a B2 in the championship, but tough luck, I guess.
Well, I think it was you giving him false hope there. I don't know. I don't think he's got anything to be upset about, really. I think...
About today, no.
No. I mean, I think the thing that really cost him was, did he non-finish in Bahrain or did he not start? I'm pretty sure he retired from Bahrain, didn't he? He was in an accident. So I think that's the thing that's really cost him a lot of points compared to his direct rivals. But yeah, certainly he was pretty strong in Monza. He was quite strong last time out in Qatar. And again, he's getting another good performance today. So yeah, certainly we're not done with Le Mans Ultimate just yet after this race. So we are coming back to it. I think we can say we've got quite some confidence. So he will get more opportunities with Carloni Racing to show what he can do. Meanwhile, here is the recovering Palumbo, who is closing on the back of Armando Ortenzi in the battle for P12 here. So yeah, Palumbo certainly is the man on the move with his sort of alternate strategy. He decided to take that second stop a lot earlier rather than trying to risk it and splash and dash at the end. Pagani has served his stop and come out in 9th, about 5 seconds behind Van Ginneken. As here we go around the outside into Bruxelles. That's very bold from Luca Palumbo. Does Armando Ortenzi leave enough room? No, he pushes him out wide there. A bullish defending from Ortenzi as they touch wheels again through Speaker's Corner. Oh! That was a little bit more than a little bit dirty from Ortenzi, I have to say there.
That genuinely looked intentional.
That looked like he pit maneuvered him by tapping the rear out and sent Palumbo out of control there.
I understand the frustration, but as a driver, you never want to be overtaken around the outside, especially if there's like a slight touch. But
especially through Bruxelles, because that's a very difficult corner to do a move on. And
yeah.
I mean, full marks to Palumbo for trying it. If it worked out, it would have been absolute heroic stuff. And I suppose he was in a position where he's thinking, right, I got nothing to lose, I may as well go for it. But yeah, unfortunately, he has in the end lost out. So I think that really is Palumbo's chances pretty much done in Division 2 then, of him finishing in the points here.
Yeah, so I think I'm asking the graphics to show the whole of the GT3s. Because I'm curious now with Vianney P18, right?
Yeah, Vianney had to make that. I think he might have had a penalty because he had to make that extra stop. Yellow flag somewhere out on track, which disappeared quickly. So hopefully that wasn't a major incident. But yeah, the Ricciardiello in P7 will be an interesting one to watch. He's 20 points behind. Is he the best of those Division 2 GT3s?
Second. I think he's second.
Okay, if he's second, that'd be 37.5 points. So that would be more than enough to make up the gap to Vianney.
Oh, so I'm getting message that Vianney got a disconnection.
Oh, well, that explains it. I mean, such bad luck. There was the incident at the start with Sakura, and then as he was recovering, looking good for a sort of top 6, top 7, he has unfortunately had to retire from the race. And so too, we've also lost Mattia Bortolin in recent history, as Pede, meanwhile, is right behind Mike Bell. You can just see it in the barrier. There they are. They go either side of the Lexus in a Ricardo Zonta moment there. And here they go. Bell is on the inside defending. Oh, he locks up big time. Tries to force Pede off track. And indeed, he does go off track. So Paolo will
have to let him through.
Reluctantly have to let him through. A little bit of contact as he does so, just to remind Mike that he is still there. And Paolo looking very fired up here as he goes up the inside into Bruxelles. That's an ever-decreasing gap, and he's not going to be able to force the BMW into it. So Mike Bell being very, very... this is what he's got to fight for, isn't he? So he's not going to let Paolo through at all easily.
Again, way too optimistic now. It seems with Penipede, when he decides to go for a move, he goes for it. No matter if the door is closing or whatever, he's just going for it.
Yeah, come hell high water, he's not backing down, which we love to see.
Oh, look at that slide. Yeah, I think I've already seen something like that with two faster cars splitting. Oh, with a bit of a lag spike.
Nothing to worry about.
We already seen something like that on the Kemmel straight, right? It was Hakkinen and Schumacher splitting zones.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking of. Yes, in 2000 in the F1 Grand Prix there. But yeah, Mike Bell holding on the inside. By the way, let's just distract from the fight. That's the circuit. In case you forgot we were racing around the outside. Comes Penipede into the bus stop, deep on the brakes, and he's got the inside for the second part. So yeah, Mike Bell forced to the outside and has to reluctantly give up that 8th position to Paolo Penipede, who is charging through. Can Mike Bell reassert himself up the inside? No, he has to back out of that one, but he forced Paolo to sort of compromise his line on the entry into La Source. So Mike Bell this time will be able to use the straight line speed of the Cadillac to try and retake that position down the Kemmel Straight as he sets the move up through Radion. They go as far over the curb as they dare, and now this is where Mike Bell is going to go for it. Will Paolo Penipede use the vast amount more of virtual energy that he's got to hold off Mike Bell? In fact, he very much does there. So I think that is the BMW solidly into P8, and he's got to do his best to chase down Suave in these final 17 minutes. Meanwhile, Malguera, I think that illness has very much gone away because he's 30 seconds out of Rokon then, and that gap is only getting bigger, not smaller.
Yeah, absolutely. He's must be feeling better. The championship is 100% in his hands. I mean, no, 99% in his hands. As we seem to have lost the GD3s from the...
We've lost everyone. So we just have to remember where everybody was in the race, ladies and gents, for these final 16 minutes.
We've seen a few leg spikes, so I wonder if the server is having some issues.
That might also be why the track map reappeared, so it's definitely not Louis Gaspar's fault in any way, shape or form, as he has done a wonderful job putting these graphics together for us. I think you've been involved as well a little bit, Daniele, so let's give credit to you too. Yeah, well, I know, I'm underplaying it again slightly, but yes, definitely it's a big team effort here at the E-Racing Series for EEC then, as we've got 16 minutes left of the season to go. And
unfortunately, we've lost GD3s. I mean, they're still on the track. You know, everything's still fine, but we cannot see them anymore.
Okay, who was leading from memory? It was not Norris. It was Lodrizini just passed him. So yeah, Norris, Lodrizini, Norris, and then D'Amico was our top three with Sequeira P4.
We can show them. As Suave.
Oh, that's one more position that Penipede won't have to fight quite so hard for. as Suave realizes he can't get to the end on the virtual energy that he's got.
I think he's, there's nothing more he can hope for. Bell will probably pit as well, and that's a comfortable P3 in the race. So podium for him today. As Suave, let me check, but Suave, he's actually jumping Bortolin as well. So Bruschi is getting P1 as it stands, and Suave is actually jumping Bortolin as well.
Yeah, you can really feel Bortolin's retirement, and it was definitely some sort of technical issue he was suffering with that has really cost him this championship, and that is absolutely gutting for the Italian, because he'd driven so many great races, but his equipment sort of let him down through no fault of his own. Obviously, Francesco Bruschi, he won't mind one bit how he wins the Division 2 title, although I'm sure he would have loved to fight Bordelin on track. And certainly Bruschi, about 7 seconds behind Tavanari, has actually done a pretty solid job, the two Cadillacs, to be 5th and 6th at the moment. And then there's a big gap between the two Pastoris of Nicky and Giuseppe. Giuseppe not already making an impression on Rokon. There's the gap is stretched there to 10 seconds then, as we ride on board with the hypercar leader. Certainly now we don't know the order at all in GD3. If anything happens in these last 14 minutes, it's going to be difficult for us to really know about it.
Yeah, I don't think we can even show them it, unfortunately, as it stands.
Okay. There they are. Well done to Louis Gaspar and company behind the scenes getting that back up for us. But there you go, the gap between Lodrizini and Norris, 12 seconds, with D'Amico rapidly closing on that P2 in the similar BMW. So yeah, D'Amico, his tyre's looking pretty decent shape in this closing phase as Malguera is doing the splash and dash. There we go. And Dosi also in the pits. So yeah, the Tamelli ERTs are starting to run a bit low in the tank because we saw Pagani in earlier, and now Gandosi on a similar strategy has to pit before the end.
So believe Sekira will be quite tight with virtual energy, depending on
Or
how many.
9%.
Yeah, depending on how Margera, when he crosses the line and if he actually extends the race by one more lap. But I think, Norris is super safe. Lodricini, he should make it because I don't think they use more than 1%. Sorry, less than 1%. Well, what am I saying? It's 13 minutes left and he's got 15% virtual energy left, so he's fine.
Yeah. So it is definitely Van Ginneken is going to be the next in because he's on 4%. And yeah, you're right, it's going to be tight with Sakura. He's on 8 or 9% then. So he has got to hope that Malgera rapidly comes through and laps the duty free field in record time, I think, which knowing Malgera is definitely not off the table.
I'm starting to think, no, maybe Lodricini has to pit.
Oh, okay. How do you figure?
Because you're using around 2 to 3% virtual energy a lap.
But if he splashes and dashes and he's pulled a big enough gap on Norris, it might still be enough to win. You never know.
But I don't think he has. There's no way he has. It's 13 seconds now.
13 seconds. It's still growing, though, that gap. And Norris is going to have to start defending from D'Amico behind him. So, yeah, could go either three ways here.
This would also explain why Lodricini kept on pushing and Norris didn't. Although I think Norris saved way too much, in my opinion. 29% virtual energy now.
He's certainly been playing it conservatively, isn't he? He didn't really expect to be fighting for the win, I think, did Manuel Norris. But neither did Lodi, I think, either.
Or maybe he thinks he's so safe that he can just chill.
Tavanari also pits. So that's a shame for him. That's going to put him behind Mike Bell then, at least for the time being. But I think it's only the top two that pit? Because that Malgara and Rokon definitely came in. I didn't see if Nicky Pastori. I think Nicky Pastori must have, because there was that big gap to Giuseppe. So it's the only ones we don't know if pit are, I think, Giuseppe Pastori, Bruchki. Penipelli definitely has made his second stop because he had all sorts of issues, didn't he? And he's got way more virtual energy than people around him. So yeah, Penipelli's really hoping that everybody in front of him just runs out of fuel at this point. That's the only way he's going to get on the podium here, I think, in his final 11 minutes. But yeah, this is going to be tight, these final 10 minutes or so.
Lost the position to his brother.
Oh, okay. So he must have pit then.
I think Nicola Pastore hasn't pitted yet.
There we go. He's only about less than 2 seconds behind Rokon. So there's definitely some interesting Team Sheba tactics at play between the two brothers. Luca D'Amico right behind Manuel Norris now as well in that fight. About a second behind is the gap in the fight for P2 then. So it could be if Lodoruzini pits in front of them, that ends up being the battle for the lead between those two BMWs. So 6/10 now the gap. D'Amico is really looking like a man on a mission at the moment. Would love to see that battle.
Yeah, I think D'Amico actually has to pit.
He had slightly more energy than Lodoruzini, if I remember.
Ah, okay. Okay, so I remember wrong.
So
that would be an insane strategy.
It could be, but it might just work. Abel Segura about 9 seconds behind, so he started to back off, I think, knowing that fourth would be more than enough to take the Division 1 title then, especially with the lead that he's got over Rabidi and everybody else.
So there you go, sorry.
Not just in the race.
Confirmation with Nicola Pastore pitting and ended up behind Bruski.
All right, there we go. But it was Tavanari, though. That I don't think Bruschke has made a second stop yet, if indeed he is making.
No, Bruschke hasn't stopped yet. No.
So yeah,
but
should
Nicola
be.
Pastore did.
Yeah, so Nicky Pastore should be in a net P4 when things work out here. And Penipelli only about 25 seconds behind, despite spending so much more time in the pits. In comes D'Amico and Sequeira then, so you were absolutely spot on. Rabiti also pits. So it's only our top two that are still out there. 17 seconds the gap. Lodoruzini, he's gaining nearly 2 seconds a lap still.
Okay, this is interesting. Just for clarification, whenever you see a lap time that is 0, it's because it's been invalidated. We might have to do something to show that, but unfortunately, this is how the game outputs the the lap times when you invalidate it. Also, I don't think they actually did the same lap time 3 times in a row.
Yeah, slightly. Oh no, Norris was a second faster.
Sorry, twice in a row. Yeah, twice in a row.
Apparently. Oh no, it was a slightly different lap because it was not 76, 728 as well. So I agree something funky is going on there, to put it mildly. That's probably not entirely accurate. But I think I think him gaining 2 seconds a lap is pretty accurate picture based on what we've seen so far in the race. But yeah, it's that virtual energy that is lower on the Lexus here. So yeah, this is a crunch time for Lodi Rizzini.
Regardless of that, yeah, that there you go. That's really important. I think we need to see if he actually goes and does some lift and coast into the braking zones. Because if he does, then it means this would explain. Well, it wouldn't explain much, to be honest. No. He has to pit. So I think Norris is comfortably P1.
Rishki pits as well, so that hands the position back to Nicky Pastore. Is it going to allow Penimpede through as well? I think Penimpede might fall just a few seconds short, and in comes our race leader then with 7 minutes left to go.
This is why he was pushing so much now. And this is why Norris was losing so much as well.
He's definitely going to come up behind, but how much is the question? Is he going to have enough time to catch and retake the lead? There is Manuel Norris.
I'd be very surprised. Oh, I mean, no, I thought he was going again, but no. Yeah, that's it. But
luckily, big gap to Ricciardiello. Ricciardiello, who is going to take the champion.
Not to get a unsafe release.
That's Mike Bell right behind him. So, yeah, Bell's going to come through sooner or later as Bell comes out still about 8 seconds ahead of Federico Suave in his own race. So, yeah, Mike Bell is certainly having an even better time of things than he did at Qatar. So he's going to better his best result, isn't it? Because I think he was he 8th in Qatar? But there was less finishes because he was the last finisher in Qatar. But anyway, Ricciardiello also goes into the pits. And, yeah, he, of course, in the fight with Vianney and technically Palumbo as well, but Palumbo, after being involved in another incident, I think is very much out of this one. And Vianney not really making the progress that he needs to after that disconnection that he had. So, yeah, it's definitely Ricciardiello's to lose, even as he drops further and further down the top 10 here.
So, as it stands right now, if I'm not wrong, we have Sequeira P1 in the standings for Division 1, GT3, of course. We would have, I believe, Rabiti, then Norris, then Zitiello, same points as Lodrizzini. Sorry, no, Lodrizzini would be behind. So it would be Sequeira P1, then Rabiti second, Norris third, Zitiello still somehow holding on to P5, and the P4, sorry, and Lodrizzini fifth.
Yeah, that sounds about right there. As you can see here, Lodrizzini 7 seconds behind Norris with 5 minutes left to go, and he's got one of those pesky Simframe cars in the way. There's one coming up behind him as well, the 47 of Suave, that is desperately trying to hunt down Mike Bell, and losing time is all. That's one way of getting out of the way. The number 17, that's Ilaria Finn, I think, just clearing the way, and almost a splash of sympathy in the gravel for Marco Lodrizzini then. And yeah, he's clearly up against it here if he wants to catch Norris in time here, but he's certainly got the pace to do so, in theory at least.
No, I don't think he's got the pace now. I mean, he's catching slightly, but it's all because Norris is maybe, he's probably being conservative a little bit, but I don't think he's got the pace. This is definitely Norris's race to win.
Well, I guess we'll see then. But yeah, Lodrizzini certainly not going to give up then. He's gained a bit of time there. Got the gap to just under 7 seconds now. And also a close fight going on between Sequeira and Pagani, who's about 9/10 behind him then. So Abel Sequeira holding on to the P4 that he needs to win the Division 1 GT3 Championship then, as there is his teammate Pagani. You would think Nicola Pagani is not going to do anything too silly here, but he's certainly spinning up the rear tyres. I think he knows that Sequeira can fall down to 5th and still win the championship here, because Ricciardiello's main threat is quite a way behind.
Yeah, but you still need to be very careful, because if you do something...
Yeah, if he takes him out, he's not going to be particularly popular with MCM or Temeli for that matter.
All the flocks of fans of Temeli will be absolutely upset.
Yeah, they will be grief-stricken then.
Yeah.
couple of interesting. Gardnetta saying, I think he was saying of one of the. He said that of the collision, the poor incident for poor Palumbo. He said that looked intentional, even with the frustration. He was already being aggressive defending. Can't complain about aggressive attacking. Blue flag's also really not complying. So I think you have to go out of the way within 3 corners if you get a blue flag here. So I think most of them.
We're talking about Hortensi's crash.
Yeah, I think
Palumbo crash. Or maybe he was talking about the one with.
I think the blue flags was a separate incident. Yeah.
Stim frame pink. Yeah.
Well, I was getting Pen and Pede right behind Brutski, by the way, in the fight for P5 in Hypercar. So that is very close, as well as this inter-team fight here, with Rabiti some distance behind. And
I mean, the thing with blue flags is a little bit controversial. There's no, as far as I know, I mean, I have never driven in WC, but
yellow flag.
As far as I know, in the series, you don't have to move over. You just have to hold your line.
So it looks like Bruschi made a mistake because he's now 12 seconds behind Pen and Pede. So despite everything going wrong from his race, Paolo recovering from 9th back up to P5 as we see. Oh, is that Van Ginneken?
Yes, Van Ginneken.
Having another go at Mastrota there. So this is sort of a replay of earlier, or maybe he's just still been stuck there the whole race, essentially. Poor Frank Van Ginneken. But yeah, Mastrota defending brilliantly that 9th position.
It's not really easy to overtake the BMW. It's
no, we've seen
wide.
that, haven't we? And what is going on here? This is the 74.
This should be Hortensi.
It's not Hortensi, is it? Defending against Palumbo again. Oh dear.
They're back at it.
Oh dear. I'm getting post-traumatic stress disorder looking at this. This is going to go very badly for one or both of them. With just over 90 seconds left in the race then. As you can see, there goes Bruschi. Oh, just seen in time by Hortensi, or maybe not in this instance, as may be the case. They leave just enough room. Hortensi has to go off track. And, Palumbo desperate to take advantage of this one. But there's another, it's a Tafanari has just appeared, and into the pits comes Hortensi then. So I guess he was dangerously low on fuel and virtual energy, so he's had to give up the position.
Yeah, it's also possible maybe he got a penalty for that crash. Unfortunately, we have no way to know for sure. As Margera is about to start the final lap. Sorry, I want to talk about Bruschi for a second, right? This way he's going to take away P1 in the hopefully nothing crazy happens now with Tavanari.
That was an off-tack overtake from Tavanari I've ever seen one.
Reinventing the track. That's more like the 1967 track.
Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, the old Master King is, I think, a bit further on. But there we go. You're right. He is certainly going to take the championship despite losing that position to Bruschi. That he that was Suave's only other one that was in contention, wasn't it? Yeah, so, yeah, Tavanari is not really a threat to him. As we are on the final lap then.
Tavanari missed a few rounds. As the same, Bruschi takes away the win, potentially. I mean, don't want to jinx again. But you've seen, we've never talked about him really, but he's one of the people involved in Formula Legends, which is an arcade game that has been, it's been all the rage, for a while. Yeah, there have been some controversies with the control models. They fixed it though. They listened to the community and they fixed it. And yeah, we never talked about it, but he's actually donning that logo on the car.
Oh, nice. So, I wondered what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, certainly no time for Formula Legends when we got hypercars and GT3s.
Oh, they sort of drive
just
like
to finish off here. No, that's true. Yeah. Well, maybe Studio 397 will hire Francesco Bruschi off the strength of his work. Who knows? But anyway, here comes Christian Malguera. Speaking of the strength of his work, not the biggest winning margin of the season. I think he won by over 43 seconds at Silverstone, wasn't it? And he's going to win by only 11 seconds less on this occasion, but still more dominant than Qatar. So even though it's a middling, very, very good performance, and it's going to be a clean sweep of all 6 rounds from Christian Malguera then through Blanchimont for the final time. And the man from Door Esports, sponsored of course by Falcon Tires, as you can see on that livery, through the bus stop chicane. And the Italian gets on the throttle just to run to the line to go as the GT3s desperately try and back off so they don't have to do the extra lap.
Take a bow.
But it is Malguera who completes an unbeaten run in Season 2 of EEC, and that confirms he is our Division 1 Hypercar champion.
Not really ever in discussion, really. I mean, we've had maybe...
we've talked about it a lot, but it was never in doubt, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we need to do it, right? It's our job.
Very true. Now comes Manuel Norris. I think you're absolutely right. The one-stop strategy very much playing to his benefit. Lottie Rosini, strong performance, but he's not going to do enough to relieve him of that position. And they are going to both, I think, be third and fourth. And you can just see him in the background, but it's too little too late for Lottie Rosini. And through the bust-up chicane now. For the last time comes Manuel Norris. And his best result this season, a win, comes right at the final and longest race of the season at Francorchamps. And it is Norris that wins. We heard that in Formula 1 a lot of times, but we've not heard it in EEC. Now we do. Congratulations to Manuel Norris. Marco Lotterizini is second. Luca D'Amico is going to round out the podium, but it's Abel Segura in fourth, who is going to be our Division 1 GD3 champion. And it's going to take a little bit longer for them to reach the finish line. So far ahead. Renault have crossed it. Okay. Oh, they're about to. We have seen the Pastore brothers.
Segura hasn't.
No, he hasn't. I was getting mixed up with the hypercar there. So Pastore brothers have both finished third and fourth. Ooh. Tavanari has a bit of a drift into bus stop, so the rears are starting to fade away a little bit here. But he's still going to finish P6 behind Paolo Penimpede.
That's effectively a win in Division 1.
It essentially is. So Tavanari, jet black, and best of Division 2. I think you mean. But here comes Bruschi, who's going to be our Division 2 champion. And bit of disappointment for Mattia Bordelin, but take nothing away from Francesco Bruschi. He did the job he needed to, and the reward is the Division 2 title. Oh, Palumbo and Van Ginneken fighting for P9 there. Palumbo gets through on the final lap there. There they are. Something dramatic's happened there. Looks like Palumbo cut the chicane. And he's... going to give a little squeeze to poor Van Ginneken there as they cross the line.
Someone would say that's side drafting.
I think it was to stop him getting through, if anything.
Yeah. So, I think it's time to, we'll definitely get confirmation on who won every championship, but we can definitely say Melgueta won Division 1 with 150 points, as the final results are not final and are not results. It's just a blank screen. Rocon stays second, and I believe, Nicola Pastore gets P3.
So where did Riccardiello finish in the end in GD3?
Riccardiello finished 6th, I believe.
Okay, ahead of Palumbo, so he stays ahead of Palumbo. Yeah, but that's enough to beat Vianney, who was out.
That counts as P2 though, because we have to make sure that every driver is counted.
Wait, he was class. So that's 37.5 points. But that's more than enough to overcome the 20-point gap to Vianney, who, as we know, had a terrible race, terrible result, certainly.
So Ricciardello takes away the win in GD3 Division 2.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's. I've just been sent the final results from Louis Gaspard because the same issue from Qatar has come. So I will read them out for you. Unsurprisingly, Christian Marguera takes his 6th win in a row and his 6th win of the season in dominant fashion. I think he slowed down the final lap from 33 seconds to only 28 seconds ahead of Rocon. His best lap, 2 minutes, 1 second, 0.171, fastest lap of the day. Rocon, another second place. He's only failed to finish second one time this season, so very consistent, Michele Rocon. He would look incredible if it wasn't for the presence of Marguera, but even on an off day for Marguera, with him feeling a bit under the weather, best Rocon can do is just about keep up with him, just under 30 seconds of drift. Giuseppe Pastore, tricky start to the race, but he does get back up to third, 34 seconds off the lead, with Nicky Pastore, his brother, a minute off the lead in 4th position. Paolo Penimpede is 5th after all sorts of issues of the unscheduled pit stop, putting him a long way down, but he does recover past the Cadillacs. Luca Tavanari, best of those, our Division 2 winner for Smile Power Racing. It's a jet black car, but it is apparently the Smile Power livery for Tavanari. Francesco Bruschi is our Division 2 champion. He finishes P7, 10 seconds adrift of Tavanari. Mike Bell is a lap down on the hypercar field, but he takes his best result in P8. And then rounding out the field was Federico Suave for Simfroom Esports in 9th. Moving on then to GD3. it is Manuel Norris that takes his first win of the season for Team Racing Point ERS. Marco Loda Rossini, two-stop strategy, was 2.7 seconds away from victory in the end for Carloni Racing, but nonetheless, a great strategic battle between those two, with Luca D'Amico for the Bend team doing very well in third, the Italian 27 seconds off the leaders though. In fourth is our champion, Abel Secura for Tamelli MCM ERT. And a great performance from Secura all season. What a rare off-the-podium appearance, but more than enough to seal the title, with Nicola Pagani, his teammate, finishing 0.3 seconds behind him as they crossed the line. So Pagani was certainly literally pushing him to that title. Riccardiello, he is our Division 2 champion in P6. Then it is Simone Robidi in P7 for Simframe. He just misses out, I believe. And Dragan Dosi is P8 in the third of our Tamelli ERT MCMs. Luca Palumbo, horrible race for him, but certainly not of his own making. He does pass Frank Van Ginneken on the very last lap. In fact, it shows them within the same tenth of a second as we saw when they crossed the line. So Van Ginneken just losing out right at the death there, with Davide Canton another half a second behind them in P11, just outside the points. Marco Mastrota, he had a tough end to that race, didn't he? Was defending P9 for a lot of it, and then it all fell apart right at the end, with Armando Ortenzi for Virtual Drivers Alliance in P13. Marcello Canesci, another driver of a difficult race, he was P14. Giovanni Paciello was P15, with Lucrezio Milanese 16th. Nico Viani, what could have been if he hadn't had that disconnection, P17 in the end, and difficult for him to hide his disappointment. Ilaria Finn is the first home of the Symphony Sports Pink Cars in P18. Behind her was her teammate Katrina Edmonds, and she was our final finisher, with sadly Mattia Bortolin and Salvatore Pastore, neither of them getting to the end. Pastore having a big crash, Bortolin having technical problems that very well could have cost him the championship, and indeed did cost him that Division 2 Hypercar title. But let's focus on our victors. Congratulations to Malguera and Norris in this particular race, and to Malguera and Secura, our Division 1 champions as well, along with our two Division 2 victors in Riccardiello and Bruschke. I think very well deserved across the 6 races. So, Daniele, your final thoughts before we sign off.
Yeah, we've unfortunately the championship has been a bit rushed. We've seen some decisions like merging Server 1 and Server 2, which was, turned out to be the best choice they could do. I have to say, from my point of view, I was a bit disappointed to see some drivers come and go, not be too consistent with showing up and turning up for races. We've had they've had to make 2 divisions, right? and this means that the request was really high, but after race 1, it's like most people just fell out of interest, which is a bit of a problem, yeah. But in terms of what we actually managed to see, we saw a pretty high level racing. Sometimes we've seen some moments that were a little bit questionable. But yeah, this is the potential of LMU, and this is also the potential of E-Racing Series. So I'm 100% sure this will get better, especially also from our side as well. The production, we're working hard to improve the graphics. We're trying to make sure that they look better. They work all the time, and they don't work sometimes. So yeah, for the next championship, which might be the EES, which is the what do you call it? It's the
we
pinnacle,
hope so.
Right?
Yeah, it's the endurance one. Yeah, but we really hope that the driver sorts are going to be implemented by that. Otherwise, it's going to be quite difficult to do a proper ES season.
Absolutely.
So we know there's another test, I think, coming in January. Is there?
Yeah, correct.
That they're doing. So we should know more after in the new year, in the next couple of months' time. But yeah, certainly EEC has been a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed doing it. So many great performances. GD3 has been box office throughout the season, and Hypercar, there's been some good podium fights. But yeah, Malguera has very much made it a somewhat straightforward affair in terms of figuring out who's leading, even when we have timing screen issues. But yeah, certainly my big thanks to you, Daniele, for joining me and to Louis, you and Louis, for your work on those graphics, because I think they've looked spectacular and they've gotten a lot of attention as a result. A lot of interested parties looking to use them for their championships. So let's hope that that can work out. And finally, big thanks to Mariano and everybody at EEC for keeping the show on the road. So I've been Ed Hunter. Thank you very much for watching season 2 of the European Endurance Championship. And we don't know when we'll be back, but until we do come back, we wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and thanks for joining us in 2025. Ciao, ciao, ragazzi, and good night.
That was nice. See you next time.
That's how you're ending it. Okay. Nita.